For years, Nigeria has devised many ways to tackle banditry, ravaging many parts of the country. One of these is amnesty, but the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Taoreed Lagbaja, has kicked against amnesty for bandits and terrorists in the country. The Army Chief said amnesty instituted in many states failed to achieve their purpose. According to him, beneficiaries of such gesture use it as an avenue to regroup and attack innocent citizens. Are we going to say Major General Lagbaja is looking at what he has in terms of military hardware and how proficient they could be, and you want to just face this head on?
To cut his teeth.
Well, he's just saying the truth. I'm not a soldier, but I'm also opposed to amnesty for these good-for-nothing people. There's no need for amnesty. Crush them. They are not stronger than the state. We have tolerated this nonsense for too long. Two times, Governor Masari gave amnesty. 2 times he had X on his face. And if you ask him one of his biggest regrets, Governor Masari would tell you that it was opting for amnesty. The secretary to the government of the state, at that time, our friend Dr. Mustafa, he was on This Morning last week. He was the one who used to personally go into the forest to meet those guys. And then on an occasion, the governor himself went to see Buhari Ndaji. With Buhari Ndaji clutching his AK-47 and standing next to the governor, bumper to bumper. People were like, what's the meaning of this? He had to do that to reassure them. But did Buhari Ndaji not go back to the forest? Was he not killed inside the Dansadao forest by Dogo Gide after he stole cattle belonging to Dogo Gide's in-laws? So they don't change. These are not the people that you give amnesty to, are people involved in crime with political connotation. These are not, they have nothing to do with ideology, with politics. It's just pure criminality. They want to make their money.
This is different from Boko Haram.
No. They just want to make their money and go.
This is economy.
This is purely criminal in nature. They don't give amnesty to those people. You simply send them on an errand to go and meet
their maker.
That's the best thing to do. And if as a country we have soldiers that we pay them so much, we have generals, and we can't deal with these boys, then something is wrong. Something is wrong. So I agree absolutely with Lagbaja. This thing, you give them amnesty, they will not stop. Look at even the one that was killed, Ghana, the one that was killed in Benue. Why did the army get angry and they had to kill him? Because that was the second amnesty that they were going to give him. And the army said, informally, you know, that they came out in the open. Of course, they would not say that in the open, you know. The army said they've never seen where amnesty is given twice to an individual. And for me too, I don't think I've seen where amnesty was given to the same individual 2 times. So on their way to go and meet the governor, the military used articulated trucks to block the road, and they killed Ghana because they had killed a lot of their colleagues. So it was difficult to say, why did they do it? Why did they do it? Yes, it's what's it called?
Extrajudicial.
Extrajudicial in nature. But at the end of the day, these guys are human. Some of them have lost their best friends to this guy. So how do you expect them to watch him again, collect a second amnesty? After that, you go back to the bush, start killing people, and then come back for a third amnesty? That joke has to stop at some point. Amnesty for these ones? No.
But some people will be of the school of thought that, look, it is not every situation that you deploy force, and you can't use the military to defeat, in all cases. That, these guys, we have tried it, we've deployed military against them, and we've not gotten results. They want to argue that we might want to use another method, but maybe carrot and stick.
No. These are criminals. They have no political or religious undertone. that is driving this. It's pure criminality. And the moment you allowed state actors to bow to the whims and caprices of non-state actors, then the state is lost. Because the essence of power is ability to provide security for the members of that community. Throughout history, the history of civilization, it is the ability of lords and kings to protect their people that led to the emergence of city-states. So it cannot now be our turn that will now allow criminals to dictate how we live our lives, because some people are romanticizing the very elements of what this is. Unless I'm going to paint it in another brush, this is purely people who are interested in using criminality to make money. And I agree with the Chief of Army Staff. Apart from the fact that he prides himself of being a soldier, the best way for a new leader to show leadership is to do what he thought, as maybe second in command or part of the troop, that he saw what the former GOCs are doing, that he thought were not getting results. This is time to cut his teeth as Chief of Army Staff. And this is not the time to start talking about amnesty in the first place. Because granted that some people will always use that excuse, especially those who believe that they can always negotiate. You don't negotiate with a snake. Nobody uses a snake as a pet. Because sooner or later,
white people.
General Buratai, former Chief of Army Staff.
So be a black man that uses snake.
It was the issue of pets. Pythons now. The people use pythons.
The man in Thailand who was using a crocodile as a pet was consumed by the crocodile. But sooner or later, an animal will show itself to be an animal.
So you are saying those boys are animals. That's what you are saying.
All right. Joining us from Zuru in Kebbi State for more discussion on this issue is the former Chief of Army Staff, retired Lieutenant General Ishaya Rizi Bamayi, who is the Uban Yaki of Zuru. Thank you for joining us, General.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Uban Yaki Zuru.
I think we're still trying to establish a contact. All right. General, how will you describe life after retiring from active military service 24 years ago?
Well, so you know, life is how you manage it. When things happen, you adjust and try to keep yourself online. So I think generally life is acceptable, except for the unfortunate security situations we found ourselves, which we are still facing.
As a former army chief, how will you assess the insecurity ravaging the Northwest?
I think it's most unfortunate and avoidable. I say avoidable because I believe we have the armed forces that can handle the situations. But I think it is the lack of will from the government. The security forces, I don't believe, have been given the right orders to take the right. That's the situation we have. But if given the right orders, the right logistic support, I believe we have an armed forces that can sort out this problem within 2 months. We know the places, some of the governors have been meeting them, some have been come out to say that they know them and they talk to them, yet their states were being ravaged. That means there's a failure somewhere to act. But I sincerely believe if they are given the right orders, the right equipment, we can get this problem sorted out within 2 months. That's my personal view.
Now, when you talk about the right order or orders, what exactly are you talking about here? Are you of the view that sometimes they stop them from taking the battle to these boys?
Let me be very sincere with you. When I talk of right orders, the armed forces do not work on their own. We will have a commander-in-chief. We have service chiefs. Unless the commander-in-chief gives that order, nobody can do anything. Let me give you an example. I am from the local government area. I was in my village house in Machika, and there was something going on around Senoko village. And I decided to go and see for myself. And I drove myself. I got to a place, I met soldiers sitting down, and firing was going on about a kilometer in their front. And I asked the lieutenant in charge, look, are you not hearing what is happening? Houses are being burnt and there was seeing smoke. And he told me, sir, we have not been told to act. And no military chap or unit will go and start fighting without receiving the right orders. When I took the right orders, legitimate orders, because if anything happens, you have to justify your action. But I was a soldier before I became an officer. I started my service on the ranks. I went to the Defense Academy as a corporal. And I know what it is for operations to be successful. So the right orders must come from the highest point, and that is the commander-in-chief. No chief of army staff can deploy troops anywhere without receiving instructions. In most cases, written instructions. And I believe the problem we had was nobody was there, courageous enough to give such orders for reasons known to those who were there before. That's what I mean.
Now, there are those who have said that we can only win this battle against this band of criminals using kinetic and non-kinetic approach. As the retired chief of army staff, which approach would you recommend for us as a nation to get us out of this big problem? General Bami, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
Okay, let me reframe my question. I said there are those who believe that to win this war against bandits and terrorists, we need the kinetic and non-kinetic approach. As a former chief of army staff of our great country, what approach would you recommend for us to defeat these people?
As far as I'm concerned, from the military point of view, I don't believe in any other palliative more than facing these people frontally and defeating them on the field. I do not see any other approach to it, because they are not people who have any feelings, they are not any people who want peace. And to make peace, sometimes you have to fight and make peace by force. It's not all the time to go about begging people. You cannot beg these people who have been there terrorizing people. My people in rural area now, most of them are no farm for the last 2 years. I'm a farmer. I have not been to the farm now for 2 years because I cannot afford to see my people being killed in the field. So my approach is proper military action. Thank you.
Now, Kebbi, your home state, is one of the states most hit by banditry. Why is Kebbi's situation peculiar?
Well, and that is why I feel the proper approach is to defeat these people on the field by use of force. Because I am saddened we have so much responsibility on our people. Our people are known to be hardworking. We are all peasant farmers. Many of them have not gone to the farm for 2 years. We are having so much burden supporting these people. I am not blaming anybody, but I still believe, if we have right orders, proper equipment, proper logistics, this thing can be overcome in 2 months. We have men who can do it. Nigerian army that have left so many years ago, I don't think has changed much. If they are given the right order, every officer will want to be a successful officer. I believe we can do it.
Do you think we have the right number of troops to get the job done?
I believe we do have. What we do not have is the will, and that will is from the leadership. The will must come from the leadership. Let the leadership be sincere, because I think what has happened in past years is lack of sincerity.
Wow.
And I must say from top to bottom, a situation where you see bandits sitting down to discuss with a governor, and then a governor coming out to tell you that they know them, they speak to them. Whatever you need, it means how many forests do we have here that are paying impenetrable to the military? I believe we have the men. It is not the crowd that matters. Give them proper equipment, ensure that their morale is high, and I assure you, with good leadership in the field, we'll do it. I'm convinced it is possible.
Kebbi State, especially Zuru, is known for producing so many generals, so many fantastic commanders and all that. Is there anything that retired generals, retired officers of Zuru origin are doing to try to solve this problem of constant killing of your people by bandits? Is that a way we are coming together?
Well, I think we have been doing a lot silently. Don't forget, we are retired, and there's a limit to what you can do. We cannot go and buy arms for people. But what we have is we have been supporting our local vigilantes that we call Yansakai. They know us, we know them. We have been giving them as much logistic support as we can. And I assure you, given the opportunity, we can raise 2 brigades in Zuru land. But if you raise brigades, what are they going to fight with? We cannot go and buy arms. But if there's a way that this thing can be organized, and these people get legal issue of arms, I assure you that we'll take care of it. We have been defending our people. Otherwise, this route itself would have gone. Our people have been doing, the generals have been doing very well. At least I know about 2, 3 generals that have taken so much pain, taken logistics for distributed their families, widows, and the rest of it. So I think the generals have done well. And the soldiers are ready to act, given the right incentives.
Now, still talking about the matter of supporting the vigilance groups. Every time the bandits and the vigilantes clash, it usually results in heavy casualty on the part of the vigilantes because they don't have the kind of weapons, the RPGs, the AK-47, AK-49, and GPMG that these boys have. Don't you think that it amounts to putting young people in harm's way if we encourage them to confront people that they do not have the kind of weapons they have?
Well, for those who are not around, the people might think that the casualty rate is higher on vigilante, but that is not true. They have been forced to learn tactics. And in most cases, what they now use is to ambush these people. In fact, I think they are the ones suffering very high casualties. Unfortunately, even if you have the spoil of war in weapons, you cannot use them. Otherwise, we would have been equipping ourselves with the weapons we recover from them. But anytime these weapons are there, you have to hand them over to the police. Unfortunately, sometimes the army and the police come into it and they have joint operations. So it is not true that we have more casualties than the bandits. Maybe you need to check what happened about a week or 2 weeks ago. You'll find out when they found out why they surrounded them. The army came in, and it was a very, very successful operation. So I do not agree that we have more casualties on the side than the bandits. No. We have casualties, no doubt about it. But the ratio is not as people are thinking about.
General, what do you think will happen if we go the way of getting state police to handle this particular situation? Given the fact that the Nigerian army is being overstretched for all these internal conflicts that they are working on, will creating state police not be a better option in solving this particular quagmire?
Well, state police is a good idea, but I'm not sure that the state police will solve the problems of banditry, especially in this area. Are you going to have a state police that is properly equipped, properly trained? And what are the number of them? How many of them? Because when we talk of state police, we are going to have people. But when we are talking of these, our vigilantes, you virtually have them in every house, although you don't know them. State police, if properly equipped, will be fine. But how do you get the required number of operations from time to time?
You are garrison commander here in Lagos, and you also held many top positions in the army. What has changed in the way the army of your era was run and what we have now?
Well, I must confess, whatever it is revolving. Now, when I was in service, it was a military government. We were getting instruction directly from the commander-in-chief. We were not involved in politics, so we had no political consideration in any issue. Unfortunately, from 1999 to date, firstly, when the then commander-in-chief, Obasanjo, came in, he wrongly retired all the officers who are military governors. Some of them were one of the best officers we had. They were on military posting. They did not apply to the military governors. We posted them, and we should have allowed them to go back into service. But politics came in, and eventually many officers, politicians nowadays, they're involved in even postings. People go to the academy, recruitment of soldiers, and what the result is this. You bring in people who are not interested in the job. I know there's a quota system, but once you join that, the quota system is finished. Politicians came in, to me as far as I'm concerned, and destroyed the army. As a result, those who are in the military, many of them, not all, we still have fantastic officers. But there are some soldiers who came in there just to get access to the weapons, and you can see some of them Some of them are arrested as bandits, armed robberies, and the rest of it. Then came this unfortunate issue of going to put soldiers on permanent roadblocks. Soldiers' roadblocks are not statics. You come in, snap roadblocks. As soon as the objective is obtained, they pull them out. But today, you go to the road. You find soldiers on roadblocks, some of them permanently. I went through some unfortunate days of soldiers being corrupted to collect money from passengers. That is not a soldier's responsibility. So if you are asking me about our own time and this time, we are all the same officers, we are of the same profession, but the professional aspect of it, to some extent, has been eroded.
Wow.
You have officers now being answerable to some politicians. Politicians influencing, posting, recruitment, and the rest of it. That has lowered standards, has affected morale, and has affected good command. That's what I feel, my personal view.
At the time that President Obasanjo took that decision, many people felt he did it to protect the regime and ensure that it doesn't get, that the army doesn't take over power. Because he felt that some of those officers were already politically exposed one way or another. So people believe that he did it as a way of, as a form of regime protection.
Well, if that's what he did, then he must have made a very wrong accusation. Because by the time we left, even the military itself was tired of governance. Because it was facing a lot of indiscipline. And that's why I ran into trouble as a chief of army staff. I had the roughest time as a chief of army staff. Because I decided to descend on those of them who felt they could do anything and get away with it. It stopped. But the military itself was tired. So the question of sending out the best brains, and those of them, most of them rank of colonel, who are at that time, who are at the strip of their profession, I think it was a wrong decision. And having sent them out, you now let people who are not experienced, who already got scared, they will be tired if they don't do anything, and they were no more really interested in taking care of the profession, and therefore not bothering about the welfare of their own soldiers. That's the effect. And that effect is still being felt in the Nigerian army today. I think it was the wrong decision.
It's like every other year, my wife wants to paint, and her own kind of budget just makes me want to faint. 50 pockets of paint? Make it make sense. I'm only dropping cheddar if it's using Santex.
Santex? Yes, Santex. The amazing durability is more than mere text. Rich quality paint within your budget. So make the smart choice. Paint with Santex. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with a smart choice. Santex paint. Santex paint. Smart choice.
Paint your dreams on the walls of your reality. Buy Santex paint products from October to December 2023 and win amazing prizes. Offers available at authorized Santex paint stores across Nigeria. Santex paint, the smart choice.
Let's giddy! Are you ready? Brace up for the event of the season because Greater Lagos Fiesta is back. Get ready for a display of culture and talent from the 29th to the 31st of December 2023. 5 different locations: Agege, Ekpe, Badagry, Ikorodu, and the 2024 countdown party at Soul Beach with the biggest artists and the biggest songs of 2023. Wait, there's even more. There will be lots of fireworks, dance, comedy performances, cultural exhibitions, games, and many more. Come with your squads and let's have non-stop fun because it's about to to be a lituation. Showing live at these stations: DSTV channel 198 and GoTV channel 49. Don't miss out.
So what can we do at this stage? I know that many years ago, soldiers had access to trainings in Sandos and many of those great institutions. But I'm told that the finances to support such training are not there. Is it that your own juniors do not have the privileges that you had, the benefit of solid training that you and your colleagues had?
Well, when you talk of privileges, as far as I'm concerned, a soldier is not supposed to be a wealthy person. A soldier needs to be comfortable. And I think you are very comfortable. But unless this government takes steps to stop interfering in army, what do you call it? We have our own established way of doing things. But unfortunately, we started getting involved in army promotions, postings, and the rest of them. As a result, what we have now inherited is a situation where you have so many officers without something doing, because promotion was not being done on vacancies. If you have 10 vacancies and you promote 30 officers, you can only post 10 of them. As a result, go some offices, you find some generals sitting down, no job, and it is frustrating. It is not wearing the rank that matters. It is doing the job and justify your promotion. I think there's a lot to do. The review of condition of the army should be allowed to go by the terms and conditions of the service. Once you do that, it covers everything. But if there's interference from anywhere, political interference, it is bound to cause confusion, it is bound to bring problems and low morale. And when you have an army without high morale, you have a problem. That's my view.
The issue of mass retirement when service chiefs are promoted, like the one we just had recently.
Appointed.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it is a normal thing. As a commander-in-chief, you come in, you want your own service chief who will do what you want. I'm not saying that the others were disloyal or whatever it is, but it is normal that when you take over, you reorganize. There is nothing wrong in organizing issues. And when you reorganize, some people are bound to lose their posts. I do not see anything wrong with it, with the commander-in-chief coming in and okay, this is the team I want to work with. After all, if you are fortunate, every officer, competent officer in the army wants to be chief of army staff, but you tend to all be. And if you are there, even if it is for 1 month, you have achieved the objective. So as far as I'm concerned, you've achieved whatever you want to achieve. That's the highest level you can get. But I believe as a commander-in-chief, you have the right, and it is better for you to choose your own services. Go back and check that there are some commanders, that officers who stay for very long distance, and you become effective until you start going down. So I believe the action of retiring, appointing services at any time is the prerogative of the commander-in-chief, and nobody should question it.
General, but the concern is sometimes up to 100, 130 officers get retired just because some service chiefs have been appointed. I will not losing so many officers after all the money that we spent in training them. We just lose officers in their prime like that. Is it not wrong?
You see, in the military, you must maintain discipline. Most of these officers that are always asked to go as officers who are senior to the man being appointed a chief of army staff. And there is no rule or term of condition that says the president must appoint the most senior officer. You could be the most senior, but you may not be effective. And I don't think there's a problem here. If my junior is appointed, it is left to me to decide whether to work with him or go. If you are going to work with him, will you take orders from him? The chief of army staff. You are his senior by commission or promotion, whatever it is. So I believe the army is safe, and that's why I say we should look at the terms and conditions of them. They are suffering their own mistakes by promoting people anyhow. You don't promote without vacancies. And I think there are many officers who have been promoted. Many of them don't have offices. So what are you giving them for? Why you talk of money? Whether you leave them there, frustration comes in. It will also affect the chief of army staff you have appointed, because he might find it difficult to be giving instructions to officers who are his senior. We had this problem. When I was appointed chief of army staff, I was not the senior. No. But what the great commanding chief then did was to take those who are senior to me to Minister to Defense headquarters. So they were no more under my command. Okay. They were then under the command of the CDS, who was their senior. It all depends how you play your cards. There's no problem if you sit down and plan properly. But I think it would be wrong to appoint the junior officer and then leave his seniors in service. It will destroy morale. The indiscipline will come in.
Some analysts have said that we are not recruiting enough soldiers, that we don't have enough. What do you think about the numerical strength of our military?
If we don't have enough officers, we wouldn't have a situation where I have some office, 4 or 5 officers live in one office with no appointments. If you recruiting more does not mean you will not go by the terms and conditions of service. If you recruit more officers or soldiers, they go for training. It is a matter of people being phased out as their time service, which I think is 35 years or so. But the army itself made one mistake, which I was told they've corrected. While we were in service, for every rank, you spent 5 years. I was a lieutenant 5 years, captain 5 years, major 5 years, lieutenant 5 years, and wrong. But when you shoot yourself on the leg by reducing this time, not our time, you take 4 years as a brigadier general to make a better general. Then it was cut down to 2 years.
General, sir,
which means
do we have enough? Do we have enough soldiers? Do we have enough soldiers to deal with the security threats that we have as a nation? Do we have enough?
You see, the question is this. My answer is this. It is not the number of soldiers that matter. Have you equipped them properly? Have you trained them properly? Have you given them the proper leadership? Have you bothered about their welfare? These are issues. The moment you don't take care of your soldiers, even you have so many of them, it's of no effect than if you have properly trained soldiers with very high morale, well equipped. So it's not a matter of numbers. So for me, I cannot answer that question because I don't know the strength of the Nigerian Army today. So I cannot tell you we have or we don't have. But I believe, I repeat, even the right order, the right equipment, we have soldiers who can overcome this banditry.
Okay, General. Finally, you were put in prison for years. What are your regrets after serving?
Sorry, I've not got to go.
As in, you were put in prison after serving. That is you finished serving in 1998. What are your regrets?
You are in prison for many years. So what are your regrets about being put in prison after serving your country meritoriously?
Let me be very sincere with you. I have no grudge for going to prison. I believe that the way the government was pursuing me there, God took me there to save my life, to protect me. So I have no grudges with anybody. As I said before, all those I felt had a hand in my going to prison, I've met them after imprisonment. What after I left prison? I've met all of them, including the Commander-in-Chief, General Obasanjo there. I do not have any hard feelings for anybody. All I have is glory to God for sparing me. And I'm still healthy, I'm still okay. The army is still taking very good care of me. I'm still alive. And one thing I can assure you, I'm always in support of the government, whatever it is. So I have no grudges whatsoever against anybody. What I have is gratitude to God for sparing my life.
All right. I want to thank you, former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ishaya Bamayi.
I thank you very much for having me.
All right.
I'm sure.
Let me close by saying all I've said are my views, and I strongly believe in whatever I've said. I'm convinced, given the opportunity, that's exactly what I do, that's what I believe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Remember the famous Bamayi brothers?
Yes.
Under General
Shaya Musa.
Yes, so one was in NDLA.
Yes.
And
The one with the mustache.
Yes.
He chased away so many of the wannabe boys. Yes, he chased them, even their musicians. They fled abroad.
Yes.
You know, that is the elder brother. He's the one who brought the Shire into the army.
Oh.
You know?
All right.
The wannabe boys. Yes, he chased them, even their musicians. They fled abroad.
Yes.
You know, that is the elder brother. He's the one who brought the Shire into the army.
Oh.
You know?
All right. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has warned against distracting the judiciary from doing justice to the petitions. In a statement signed by the head of Obidati Media Office, General Onifade, he said some of the happenings around the judiciary lately are absolutely needless and utterly unacceptable. They've adopted their
written
addresses, all the political parties.
I think what Obidati should do is talk to their own members while talking to members of other parties, because it will be hypocritical of them to claim not to know that some of what the Peter Obi has even complained about, you got to blame their members for some of it. The blame has got to be shared, and there is no way you can exculpate the Obidati group from some of what is happening. Remember when the judgment in respect of the vice president's alleged double nomination came up? Justice Okoro accused some people of using the social media to intimidate and call judges' names. The man who could not win his polling unit in Zaria famously went on television to tell judges not to even show up at the inauguration ground. Remember? He looked into the camera and was saying that the CJN and others should not go to the inauguration ground. That if
that's an official responsibility.
That if they did it, that they should not inaugurate an illegal president. So it's like when you Nigerian politicians, the more you look, the more you look at them, the less you see. There's an attempt to make it look like, oh, we are the chaste people, we are the Puritans, we are the ones whose hands are clean. But we have never had an election in which bad blood has been demonstrated on social media as this one. And the Obidati group cannot claim that it is clean, because we've had people who even told Obi, why don't you talk to your people? So this thing about intimidating judges, distracting judges, those who, I'm happy that he mentioned, or that they mentioned what some people claimed happened, that a judge decided to resign because they wanted to force him to give judgment to someone in the executive. And in writing it, they said, believed to be Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If that is not distraction to the judiciary, what else can be defined as distraction? That thing was not true. But the way it was written, reading it, you would think that it was true. Even me, with all my years in the print media, I looked at the thing, I was almost wrong-footed. So I was just waiting. Then later they said, no, this thing didn't happen.
But no judge resigned.
No judge resigned. Now,
I was shocked.
Apart from that, they also claimed that Bola Tinubu and the CJN,
yes, that
they spoke on phone. Before then, remember, they claimed that Bola Tinubu and the CJN had a meeting in abroad.
Yes. Yes.
At the time when they claimed that meeting was taking place, the man was even attending mosque here in Abuja. It was photographed attending
from
mosque.
His office.
They didn't stop at that. They claimed that Wike took some judges on the same panel, and they took them abroad for the purpose of bribing them. Who is that judge in the thick of this their work, who will leave the work and then travel abroad?
Politician.
So those are the things happening. Now, because of the desperation, I think some people have misled themselves to believe that judges determine how they rule on matters before them based on what they read in the newspapers. Judges are supposed to decide matters based on law, based on point of law, not what we are saying about ourselves. We can argue among ourselves. It's our opinion. It shouldn't bother judges, but somehow these politicians have come to the conclusion that, look, if we say put this in the paper, it will affect how these cases are determined. That is what is leading to all of this. When Olanipekun said, if Tinubu is denied the presidency, or the presidency is taken away from him just because he didn't get 25% in Abuja, that absurdity could lead to chaos, to anarchy. But in interpreting what he said, including their agents in the print media, what they've been saying is that he said if it is legally taken off Tinubu, that if the Presidential Petitions Tribunal legally takes the mandate away from Tinubu, that it will lead to chaos. The question to ask is, if I win 36 states, and I'm very confident that this matter will be resolved by during this trial. If I win all 36 states and I don't win, and I don't win Abuja, or I didn't score 25% in Abuja, does it make any sense to take my victory away from me? I think that was the point that the man was trying to make. But again, it was twisted. So I'm just, as I said in the course of last week, I'm just waiting for this, for time to, for this matter to be resolved so that we can have our senses back, because this thing is just terrible.
Sikian, since 1999, I've not seen still by a lot of people are looking forward to what the courts will say about a presidential election. The election was keenly contested. After the contest, you see, had attention shifted to the courts, and it seems the judiciary is so much under pressure.
Yes, the judiciary is under pressure, but this is not the first time. Also, those of us, today we know what I'm talking about. We had a similar case in 1979. Ayo, you'll be very young then. Ayo, you were young. Today you know what I'm talking about. Yes, of course. Now you were very young. People are saying this is the what happened in 1979. If you remember vividly when we were still, it was more tense than this. It was. I'm telling you.
Between Awolowo and
definitely it was. When we are talking about the 19th state and the 2/3 of 19 and the rest, almost similar to what is happening.
Professor Chike
Obi. Yeah. This also happened. But yes, but we are students of history.
My hands are tied.
Yeah,
very similar because in that case too, we have 3 parties who are strong.
Yes.
Quite strong.
4 parties. 4 parties. Even 5. If you say PRP too. UPN. NPN, PRP, and GRP, 5 of them, very, very strong in their own right. In their own, like in Kano, you cannot say anything about anything without PRP in Kano. Talakawa party, very, very strong. GNPP with Waziri Ibrahim. So it was almost the similarity. We were very young then. I was in primary school, but at least I had a friend idea. But back to what we were talking about. I think what is happening now is that it goes across every party, at least the 3 leading parties, APC, PDP, Labour Party. What is happening is that people are moving this issue from court to court of public opinion, what you call court of public opinion, which most often than not does not necessarily count. Just as Jesus said, in law we are taught that a judge can only give judgment based on evidence before it, nothing more, nothing less. In fact, even if a judge cannot add or subtract from what evidence has been put, and that is the case, or else in law, that is what we call descending into the arena. In law, a judge cannot descend into the arena. But let us look at the issues. Some of the submissions made so far. The APC, the Labour Party, through a council, is saying that Tinubu and Shetima should be, the result should be annulled, and they should back from. P2B should be declared the winner of the election. But Tinubu council, in their own, said, let us even assume that this election is cancelled. If there are going to be a rerun, that Labour Party should not be part of that rerun. It is going to be between Atiku and their council was able to put up some certain institutions, like justifying it through section 134, subsection 2, subsection 3, subsection 4, which states that if there is going to be a rerun, it is the person that came first and second that will qualify to be part of that Peter Obi cannot and will not, should not be part of that. That is the position of the APC. Now, they went for that to say that if you also look at it from the point of the highest vote won, in terms of highest vote, it was tabulated. President Tinubu had 8 million, Atiku had 6.9, P2B has 6 point. That also shows that P2B is nowhere near a rerun, if that's what there's going to be. Then, thirdly, it also went ahead to say that if you also look at the winner of the 2/3 in the states, that Tinubu had the majority in about 19 states. Atiku in about 16. When you're looking at Obi, so those are the things canvas. But finally, the P2B councils are saying, don't say that.
Disqualified Tinubu
outrightly. Remove him.
Remove him. So that the race will not
be between. So.